hereby declare this meeting of the Howell Township Zoning Board to be open. Adequate notice having been given pursuant to the New Jersey Open Public Meeting Act in the following manner. First, on December 11, 2023, a copy of said notice was mailed to the Asbury Park Press and the Star-Ledger. Second, on December 11, 2023, a copy of said notice was hand-delivered to the clerk of the Township of Howell. Third, on December 11, 2023, said notice was posted in the office of the Zoning Board and on the bulletin board in the Howell Township Municipal Building, 4567 Route 9, Howell Township, New Jersey. In accordance with the Fire Prevention Code and your safety, please be advised that this facility is designed with 2 emergency exits at the front and rear of the meeting room. Furthermore, smoking is not permitted in the municipal building. Please take note that this meeting is being videotaped for possible future broadcast on Howell Township TV 77. This meeting is a judicial proceeding. Any questions or comments must be limited to the issues of what the board may legally consider in rendering their decision, and the decorum appropriate to a judicial hearing must be maintained at all times. Thank you.
Thank you, Eileen. Can we have a roll call, please?
Yes, you may. Mr. Barillo?
Here.
Mr. Cantor's been excused. Mr. Hughes has been excused. Mr. Mertens has been excused. Mr. Orozco?
Here.
Mr. Stanton's been excused. Mr. Ryan?
Here.
Ms. Scottson?
Here.
And Chairman Saya.
Here.
You have a quorum.
Thank you. Well, everyone, please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Andy, can you please swear in the professionals?
You swear the testimony you give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
I do. Please state your names for the record. Charles Cunliffe.
Jennifer Beam.
Your professionals are sworn, Mr.
Thank you, sir. Okay, item 5, approval of minutes, regular meeting, March 25th, 2024. Eligible voters, Barillo, Cantor, Hughes, Mertens, Orozco, Ryan, Scottson, and Saya. Can I have a motion, please?
Motion.
Second.
Barillo, Scottson, roll call, please.
Second. Mr. Barillo?
Yes.
Mr. Orozco?
Yes.
Mr. Ryan?
Yes.
Ms. Scottson?
Yes.
And Chairman Saya.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Regular meeting, May 13th, 2024. Eligible voters, Barillo, Cantor, Hughes, Mertens, Scottson, and Saya. Can I have a motion, please? Scottson,
Second.
Barillo, second.
Mr. Barillo?
Yes.
Ms. Scottson?
Yes.
Chairman Saya.
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you. Regular meeting, 20 May 2024. Eligible voters, Barillo, Cantor, Hughes, Stanton, Ryan, Scottson, and Saya. May I have a motion, please?
Motion for approval?
Ryan,
Oh, have at it.
Second.
Barillo.
Mr. Barillo?
Yes.
Mr. Ryan?
Yes.
Ms. Scottson?
Yes.
And Chairman Saya.
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Great. Item 6,
I
vouchers.
have no vouchers.
Item 7, correspondence.
I don't have correspondence, but Mr. Pape is in the audience and would like to address the board regarding case number BA 20, hold on 1 minute. 2306 Gateway Industrial 175 LLC.
Okay, so that's the under correspondence, Mr. Pape.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Kenneth Pape. On behalf of Gateway 175, Gateway 175 received comments from your board's professionals that led them to redesign the building, reducing its size by approximately 35,000 square feet with the goal of bringing the building into conformance with the bulk standards of the ordinance. Unfortunately, we did not get the plans filed 10 days in advance of today. We will be filing them on Wednesday. Mr. Chair, we apologize to all for any inconvenience, and we ask that the application be carried to a date that's convenient for the board. Prior to this evening, your secretary Eileen advised us that there were hearings available in September Either of the September dates are acceptable, and I look to the board as to which is appropriate.
Eileen?
I have September 9th or September 23rd. September 9th is open and so is the 23rd, either one.
September 9th would be fine, Mr. Chair.
Great. That will be September 9th with no further notice.
That would be appreciated, Mr. Chairman.
And expiration 30 September?
Yeah, we need an extension of time.
On the record, the applicant grants an extension of time until October 30th, 2024. We'll follow it with a letter to the board tomorrow.
2024. Okay, thank you, Mr. Payne.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so anyone that's here for case number BA 23-06 Gateway Industrial 175 LLC, this application is being carried to September 9th with no further notice and expiration of time, October 30th, 2024.
And that's all I have for correspondence.
Thank you. Resolutions. Case number BA 23-11, Christ Church. Resolution granting use variance and site plan approval. Eligible voters, Barillo, Hughes, Mertens, Orozco, Stanton, Ryan, and Saya. Can I have a motion, please?
Motion to approve.
Ryan.
Second.
Orozco. Eileen?
Mr. Barillo?
Yes.
Mr. Orozco?
Yes.
Mr. Ryan?
Yes.
And Chairman Saya?
Yes.
Motion carries. Resolutions memorialized.
Thank you. Case number BA 24-04, Nicholas Morocco. Resolution granting bulk variance approval. Eligible voters, Barillo, Cantor, Hughes, Mertens, Scottson, and Saya. May I have a motion, please?
Motion to approve?
Scottson?
A second.
Barillo?
Mr. Barillo?
Yes.
Ms. Scottson?
Yes.
Chairman Saya?
Yes.
Motion carries. Resolutions memorialized.
Thank you. Case number BA 23-21, German Estrada. Resolution granting bulk variance approval. Eligible voters, Barillo, Cantor, Hughes, Orozco, Stanton, Ryan, Scottson, and Saya. May I have a motion? Orozco. Do we have a second?
Second.
Scottson.
Mr. Barillo?
Yes.
Mr. Orozco?
Yes.
Mr. Ryan?
Yes.
Ms. Scottson?
Yes.
And Chairman Saya?
Yes.
Motion carries. Resolutions memorialized.
Okay, last one, BA 18-31, Securus Realty LLC. This is a resolution granting extension of time. Barillo, Cantor, Hughes, Mertens, Scottson, and Saya. Can I have a motion, please?
Motion to approve.
Barillo,
I'll second.
Scottson.
Mr. Barillo?
Yes.
Ms. Scottson?
Yes.
Chairman Saya?
Yes.
Motion carries. Resolutions memorialized. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so then what we have in front of us is applications before the board. This is case number BA 24-19, that's 019. LEAD, Inc., Law Enforcement Against Drugs and Violence. This is a temporary use permit. Description, application of lead as applicant and AA Martel Howell LLC as owner seeking temporary use permit to utilize the parking lot adjacent to the Escape Movie Theater to host a lead festival/carnival, including amusement rides, game booths, and food stands. The applicant indicated the event will be a self-contained space within the parking lot enclosed by a 6-foot-high fence with strict security measures in place with 24-hour supervision on premises known as Block 25, Lot 54.06, Route 9, and Lanes Mills Road. This application was previously heard on May 20th, 2024. Eligible voters, Barillo, Cantor, Hughes, Orozco, Stanton, Ryan, and Scottson, and Saya. Mr. Pate.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, good evening. Kenneth Pape on behalf of LEAD, Law Enforcement Against Drug Abuse. With me this evening, sitting alongside me is Nick DeMoro. Mr. DeMoro is the Executive Director and Chief Executive Officer of that organization. It is a Title 15 not-for-profit organization that runs fundraisers to support those programs. And this is a request for your consideration to provide recommendations and guidance to the governing body who ultimately would vote on the permit for this operation. And when the presentation was made to you on the 20th, Mr. DeMuro was not available. he is here this evening, and I have prepared a number of questions for him to elicit testimony on the record for your consideration. Prior to this evening, Mr. DeMuro's graphics team worked on together with the carnival operators, worked on putting together the exhibit that is on the boards, and it's been a handout. That exhibit identifies the portion of the theater parking lot that would be used for the carnival, the portion that remains available for parking, and we have quantified all of the elements of the carnival, and we quantified the available parking. We're prepared to present to you, through the testimony of Mr. DeMuro, the proposed operation of the carnival. I'm also most pleased and honored that a member of your police department has also joined us. Sergeant Lowe is here. Sergeant Lowe, together with the Chief Storrow, and the lieutenant, whose name I don't have, the lieutenant who was in charge of traffic and safety. The three officers met with Mr. DeMuro and went over this, the carnival operation, and they have come to a conclusion as to the police coverage that will be provided for the operation. Sergeant Lowe is here to make that part of the record.
Great. Mr. Pape?
Yes, sir.
As we heard the testimony the first time around, you know, it's not that the board did not feel that this was going to be a successful, event. We were more concerned with, what happens if it becomes too popular. And so that's, if we focus on that, and we have Jen and Charlie, who are running that side of it for us, we would love to be able to get there and pass it on to the council.
Mr. Chairman, thank you for those remarks. I'll make every effort to be efficient and also make sure the necessary facts are before you. Perhaps there are certain things that I could do without taking too much time. A certificate of carnival registration issued by the State of New Jersey Bureau of Fire Code Enforcement for this and other carnivals has been provided. I provided it to your secretary and also to Chief Prochnow. So that's in place, and it identifies this specific event and this property. We've received the Health Department's recommendations. We will comply with all of the Health Department recommendations. We have Fire Chief Prochnow's recommendations. We will follow those. Mr. DeMuro has advised me that over many years, many times, these carnivals have been staged for this express purpose, and he is fully familiar with those regulations. This proposed carnival is proposed to begin on June 28th and to conclude on July 7th. Those are the dates that the state of New Jersey has authorized and the dates that we're asking that you recommend. There will be 2 to 3 days advance activity where the fences are installed, the security fences, and the carnival is set up 2 to 3 days before. And when the carnival concludes, there'll be a breakdown, and 2 to 3 days after, they'll be completely gone. At all times, 24 hours, there'll be security on the premises. When the carnival is in operation, the security will be by the police department. When it is not in operation, the security will be provided by the carnival. They will have security there. There'll be a human presence 24/7. We were asked to prepare an exhibit that identifies what would take place, and I'm going to ask Mr. DeMuro to help me with that. And we were also asked to identify the parking that's available, and also to confirm that the landlord who graciously made this property available for this purpose without charging anyone, that maximizes the profits to be distributed to the police. But the landlord also owns the contiguous property, BJ's. BJ's and LA Fitness have been advised of this carnival. I was specifically asked that Mr. DeMuro would speak to the landlord to confirm that our neighbors know that this is coming, and they do. And the landlord has also indicated that the parking could overflow onto the BJ's facility. I think you'll see we don't expect it to, but there is no objection if it occurred. So if I could have asked that Mr. DeMuro be sworn in, we'll go through a series of questions.
Do you swear that the testimony you give will be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do, sir.
Please state your name for the record and spell your last.
Nicholas DeMauro, D-E-M-A-U-R-O.
If you would make yourself comfortable. I indicated in my opening remarks that you are the executive director and the chief executive officer of LEAD. Did I make an accurate statement?
Yes, sir.
And for how long have you been doing this?
10 years.
and this isn't your first rodeo.
No.
And I'm going to ask if we could just go through anticipated maximum number of visitors. So I think we talked about Friday and Saturday evenings would be a peak time. Fridays you'd be open 3 to 11, and you identified to me what a super success would be. If we hit 1,700 to 1,800 guests in that 8-hour period, you said that would be a super success. Is that
Yes.
based on past history?
Yes, I would be, with this amount of, with this setup, yes.
So, and by this setup,
And first time event.
if we could go through, how many rides do you anticipate will be set up in the carnival?
Well, the amount of rides is dictated by the fact that it's an odd layout there. As you can see from the layout, there's a lot of islands and stuff, so there's only so much you can fit. Right now, we have tentatively 12 rides there, as you can see on the screen. That could change 1 or 2 based on logistical issues, such as if this particular unit is coming from Voorhees Township, and what happens if one of the rides breaks down, they replace it with another ride. For instance, like if the giant wheel was the first wheel, if for some reason that is unable to make it, they probably fit 2 rides there. So it's that type of
So
situation.
if we were to make a commitment that the maximum number of rides at this carnival would be 14, comfortable with that as a cap?
15.
15 as a cap?
Yeah.
Okay. And food vendors. On the exhibit, there are food vendors that are identified. There's 6 areas of food vendors.
Correct.
What's the maximum number of food vendors that you'd expect?
8.
So 8 food vendors, 15 rides, and there's also games of chance. What's the number of games of chance that would be
Between
introduced?
6 and 9.
So 6 and 9 games of chance, 15 rides, 8 places we could get something to eat. That's the whole carnival.
Correct.
And you've indicated to me that you've, over the years, kept track of the amount of time that people spend at a carnival. What do you anticipate a guest coming to the carnival's stay time will be?
This level of a carnival would approximately be about a 90-minute stay.
And you've also told me that there's 2 different types of people who come. There's the people that are dating, that's the 2 in the car, and there's families, that's 3 or more.
Correct.
That's your experience?
Our average is usually 3.5 per car.
And you keep track of that for your carnivals. So with guests staying for approximately 90 minutes, I think the number of parking stalls becomes an element for the board's consideration. The exhibit that was put up, the one with the aerial, identifies the parking lot on site that is available. There are 7 rows of parking preserved, and I could only count, I lost count at 25. But it appears that there's 7 rows of 25 plus parking stalls, 175. There's 12 handicap stalls that are striped against the theater, and there's an additional 12 stalls up at the top where it says E on the exhibit that are available for employees. So there's a total of a minimum of 199 parking stalls. Mr. DeMuro, are you comfortable that that provides the necessary parking for a carnival of this size?
Yes.
And if you missed, you've got
There
permission
is-
from the landlord.
There is plenty of parking adjacent to the lot. And we've made considerations, as you can see on number D, says flex officer for security, which we could just have an officer there in case we need to, if they're in overflow parking and they're walking, or it's a safety issue, we have that in place.
In a moment, I'll call Sergeant Lowe, but I'll steal a little of his thunder. On the weekends, there will be 6 police officers present during all hours of operation. There will be 6 police officers. On Sunday, Monday to Thursday, there'll be 4. There'll always be 2 police cars. The police cars are identified on the exhibit. Help me. A
and B.
A and B on the exhibit are where the police cars will be. A will have 2 officers, always have 2 officers. B will have 1 officer, and the additional officers will traverse the site during operation.
Mr. Pape,
Yes, sir.
so not taking away Mr. Burlow's thunder, but one of the concerns we had was item F, right? Foxtrot?
Yes, the first aid.
Go ahead, Mr. Burlow.
Can you just turn on your mic, Nick, so I can get you? Thank you.
All right, so if I'm looking at this, it says first aid EMT. Is that just one EMT?
Correct. We would, all our events require, our business model is to require at least one EMT on site.
Okay, so EMTs normally work in pairs, right? Normally, throughout the country, EMTs work in pairs. They don't work alone.
We just had 2 events, one in Middletown, New York, which we contracted with one EMT, and we just completed an event in Paramus where we had 3 EMTs on duty. So it is flexible. If you deem it appropriate that we have 2, we will have 2. But like I said, we require, our business model for the safety is we require at least one EMT on site.
Okay, so it would be my recommendation that you have at least 2. My other concern,
It's fine.
Mr. Burlow, that's done.
okay, my other concern as far as the first aid part of this is they will have an ambulance with them at their disposal, correct?
We usually don't require that because a lot of towns don't want to tie up the ambulance in case of an emergency.
All right,
But
So,
we they usually have some type of gator or some type
So,
of
okay.
equipment present to assist them, yes. But we
Now-
don't usually dictate that, sir, but I'm not averse to it at all. I'm a retired police officer, I don't know if you remember that.
Yes.
So I'm totally, safety and all aspects of safety is the #1 priority.
and I appreciate that, and thank you for your service. So you will have a gator. Is it an EMS outfitted, equipped gator? Like, it's,
We have a call into the local EMT here at the state, so that's, to be determined.
Is there a
Okay.
recommendation, Mr. Burlow?
yeah, I would say a gator that is outfitted as an EMS equipped, quick response type of gator. Gator is a brand name, but it could be
I understand.
any. That would be my recommendation. Obviously, defib, everything needed for any scenario. That would be my recommendation.
We're reaching out to EMS. We'll tell them exactly what the request was. If it's available, we'll ask that they provide it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that would be best. I mean, I think at least if you have 2 in a quick response type vehicle where they have all necessary medical supplies and machine that they would need to resuscitate somebody if need be. If somebody was in cardiac arrest, they can handle that. That would be my recommendation.
Middle of summer, Mr. Pape, Jersey Shore, probably in the 90s throughout the 4th of July. On an asphalt parking lot, that's right. So,
We're not objecting to any of this, sir.
We're writing it down and making sure they don't miss any of it. That's why Angela's here this evening.
okay.
And if I may, just to follow up on that.
Mr. Ryan, go ahead.
The first aid area, is that going to be a tented area that'll be identifiable for the patrons to know where the first aid station would be?
We usually put them at the front gate. That's usually under a tent. But
Under a
again,
tent.
we have tents. Lead has, very nice tents that we usually put up. But if they have their own, we're flexible.
Yeah, I think there should be something identifiable, so
Sure.
families know where to beeline to for cuts, scrapes, bruises. Thank you.
And it's important. I actually, at our event in Paramus, cut my finger and I was able to get first aid right away.
Okay,
So
there you go.
it is important.
If I may, I just want to, we also were asked to confirm firefighting lanes would be kept open. I just want to make that part of the record. There are firefighting lanes that are part of the parking lot. It's striped across the front of the theater. There is no activity, there's no fence, there's nothing in that area. The striping for the the striping for the handicap parking is there, and the fire lane accommodates that. And then the fire lane that starts at the main driveway and comes to the end of the carnival, intact, no disruption, there'll be nothing in it.
Thank you, Mr. Pape. So, Mr. Pape,
Yes, sir.
so then I'm going to ask Charlie, do we have anything outstanding other than the traffic and parking?
Yeah, so, refuse, right? So you said there's up to, was it 8 or 10 food vendors? 8?
Maximum 8, yeah.
Yeah, so what are you anticipating, like a
We
roll-off?
usually, put, every one of our events carries a 30-yard dumpster.
Okay, roll-off, and then
Roll
is that
off.
like,
And
it's picked up when it's...
It's completely monitored and taken care of when filled.
Okay.
I don't know who my assistant contracted with in this area. We usually use Freehold Cartage, but
Okay,
I don't know the answer to that question.
Probably will be Freehold cars.
okay, and then bathrooms, it's all porta-johns and...
It's all porta-johns. We have at least one handicap, and I believe it's 8 regular
Okay.
units.
All right, and then on the schematic that's presented, the S in the middle kind of looks like it's just an open area. Is that where you're contemplating the additional 2 amusement rides, or 3, I guess you said, up to 3, 15 max, right? Was it
The S was just put in there for what do you call it, delineation on security that we had it there. So that could be a spot for it.
Okay,
The lot has been laid out. I personally walked a lot with the amusement company. But they'll come back, a couple days before they come up here to make sure that, what units they have are working, and so if there has to be any tweaks or anything like that. But keep in mind, sir, with this type of an operation, all the fire lanes and all of the positions of amusement rides have to stay intact. They can't block fire lanes. They have to adhere to state laws. And every amusement ride that is presented at any event in New Jersey has to be registered with the state and inspected on a yearly basis. And every location that they go to, the state inspector has the right to come out and re-inspect every ride. They normally do.
okay.
It's very rare that they don't.
And then as far as internally, so there's definitely some lighting for the parking lot there. Are you-
Correct. There's lighting there, and also there's obviously the lights on all the amusement rides. And there are additional light towers that the ride company has with them.
Okay, it's all downward facing and all that kind of stuff,
Correct.
so it's not... Okay.
Correct.
And then, does everything run on generators, or do you guys pull like a temporary...
It's
electric-
100% generators.
Okay. And I think the last time we were here, it was indication you're going to comply with the noise ordinance, 10 PM, no like...
We shut off all music at 10 o'clock.
Okay. I'll let Jen opine further. I think this is very helpful, what they presented. Like before, it was just kind of a box on the plan, and I think we just wanted to make sure that this was like thought through, and I think what you heard last time was, we think this is going to be more successful than maybe you expect, and I would just say, I see the Friday, Saturday, police officers, Sunday 4, Monday through Thursday 4. The demographic in the community is a little bit different in our area than some other parts. I wouldn't be surprised maybe if Sunday is maybe a bigger day than what you would anticipate.
I will say this to you, folks. Every day will be an analysis. And if we need be, we will be in constant communication with the police department and make any tweaks or address any issues that we had. One thing we don't want is understaffed, okay? But the other problem is, in first-time events, I've had situations where you can overdo it too, and then it costs you an issue. But we will address it every day, and you have our assurances. We'll work very closely. This particular event is the culmination of the chief and the members of the LEAD program here in the community coming to us, because they know we've had success at other places to raise money for the town. And they came to me and asked if it was possible. They had a location. So we're here to help. We're here for the community. So we have a good relationship with Chief Storrow. I've known him for many, many years. And we will be constantly in communication. And the community is the #1 focus in our minds.
Thank you, sir.
So, and the last thing I'll just say is, the temporary use permit, it's up to 2 years, right? And then you can do another 2-year extension. I don't know if you want to do some kind of wording for the first 2 years where they maybe come back for a courtesy after the first year, just for additional recommendations. If it is very successful and there's certain things that come up that, are concerning to the town or something like that, it could be a second bite of the apple to make sure that it's addressed.
On behalf of,
So-
on behalf of Lee, that's a fine idea.
Okay.
Coming back next year and talking about.
Yeah.
With all due respect, we're a guest in your house. That's the way we look at it.
And like I said, this isn't like gotcha or anything like that.
No.
I think based off of prior events, I think there was reference to National Night Out and stuff like that and how popular that was. I could see multiple years down the road this becoming very popular like that. as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no question.
John, do you have
I
anything?
hope so.
My only question is there any plans for the parking of the trailers for all these rides? Where are they being stationed at, for all the equipment?
Behind the theater is where we're looking for that.
'Cause that's a fire lane.
That's a fire lane. And
Well,
there's
I
not a
would
lot of
say-
room back there.
Obviously, we wouldn't do it on a fire lane situation.
Right, but there's not a lot of area back there. It's basically a road.
We're gonna need to,
There's also another spot on the property that the owner said that we could use as a fenced-in
The
area.
fenced-in area.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's correct. If you could drag everything over there, that would be
That would be great.
beneficial.
Yeah.
They have snow removal
He
equipment there now.
mentioned
Yes.
Yeah, so, and then kind of to that point, right, the board is aware that there's been approval for that pad site and also the other pad site in between for like office, so eventually that.
It
may
might not be
fulfill-
there in
Yeah,
perpetuity,
so
yes,
by having those
absolutely.
kind of come back again helps us.
That makes sense, absolutely.
Agreed.
John, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay,
Can I just verify a couple things? Because
Surely.
I have to make sure some of this is in the resolution. When we were here the last time, they said the hours of operation were 5 to 11, Monday through Friday, and 3 to 11, Saturday, Sunday, and holidays. Is that correct?
Yes, it is.
Okay. They also said that there's a clear bag policy, that nobody can go through unless they have a completely transparent bag. All attendees will go through a metal detector, and an adult accompanies all youths under 18 after dark with a maximum ratio of 3 youths per adult. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. And I think I
And
got
now, let me just preface the clear bag policy.
Okay.
It's really, there's also another policy, and that's the use of masks. We've been having problems at all these events throughout the country, not just in this area, is youth wearing full face masks to hide identities. We don't allow that.
okay.
Okay, perfect.
And also, the clear bag policy is not intended towards a young couple with a baby or a diaper bag. It's really intended for backpacks. We don't allow backpacks.
Okay.
So that's what the clear bag, to
Got it.
explain the clear bag policy is if they have a backpack, they want to put it into a clear bag, we search it, they can carry it around.
Okay, perfect. And then I know the last time they said 18 to 20 rides. The resolution will now say 12 to 15. Game booths would be 6 to 9 as opposed to 16 to 20, which they said the last hearing, and 8 food vendors.
Yeah, I'm sorry I wasn't here the
That's
last
okay.
time. I was in Las Vegas at a convention, but and they were speaking on an average event.
Right.
I was able to come here with the amusement company. We measured a lot. Well, I personally looked at it after 20 years of running these type of events, and this is what we came up with. And it's a scaled-down version, and I think it'll be appeasable for everyone.
Excellent. Jen, you have anything?
Nothing new. I would just reiterate what Charlie had brought to the table about the difference in the neighborhood dynamic of this particular location versus the other locations that were on your carnival permit. And I would wholeheartedly agree that Sunday is going to be the busiest day, given the nature of the population in this immediate area. So I would just be prepared in advance, because you have an Orthodox population immediately to the south that will not be there Friday night, will not be there on Saturday, will be there on Sunday. So, it's going to be busy on Sunday.
Noted. Good counsel.
Thank you, Jen. Board members, we're good?
Sergeant Lowe took the time to come.
But we're not, no. So far, so good? All right, we're ready.
Okay. If Sergeant Lowe could join us. He can have, here, you can have the important. Sergeant Lowe, the Howell Township Police Department, I think it's
Sergeant.
appropriate for police officers to be sworn in.
Do you swear your testimony you give will be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
And state your name for the record, spell your last.
Ryan Lowe, Lowe,
Sergeant
Very-
sworn.
Thank you.
Very briefly, Sergeant, if you could confirm that there were meetings with the fire chief, the lieutenant in charge of traffic and safety, and you with Mr. DeMuro to go over this event and to discuss police protection for it.
Yes.
And we made a representation that there would be, on the weekends, 6 police officers, two cars, and at all other times there'll be a minimum of 4 police officers when this is in operation. And is that consistent with your understanding and the commitment that the police are making to this event?
Yes, sir, correct.
Mr. Chair, that's the most important testimony, and that's all that I had to ask Mr. Lowe.
Okay. Mr. Lowe, the board previously heard last meeting, the applicant, and as you heard, Miss Eileen, she said there was, twice the amount of vendors, twice the amount of rides, and then we thought about National Night Out, and what an event that was. So the board was very concerned, and so as long as we're good with parking, access control, ingress, egress, then I think we could pass this on to the council.
Great. Yeah, I agree. I think Mr. DeMoro does a great job with these events, and we had our meetings, and we also expressed some of the concerns that we've had at our previous events. Like you said, National Night Out and Trunk or Treat, these things can get really crowded, and people enjoy coming to these events. So the basis of a lot of our meetings were some of the concerns we've had, some of the things that we can kind of have some foresight on. But I think Mr. DeMoro did his homework, and I think he's more than ready to have a great event.
Great. Thank you. Mr.
Thank you,
Pape?
Sergeant.
Thank you.
I do have one other quick question.
What?
There's
Yeah.
no liquor sales or beer tents, right?
Nope.
Okay, that's it. Thank you.
That concludes our presentation to you this evening, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Barillo has a question.
Very fine.
Are the police officers also in charge of the traffic control as far as directing traffic?
If necessary, sir.
Okay.
Yeah. There's 2 and a car at the intersection of the adjacent roadway, and then 1 at the, on the driveway where they would be.
And again, how they infuse themselves into that operation is at their discretion.
Right, so if they see it's kind of getting backed up, they can move traffic
Right.
along, but,
Right. Or
Sergeant,
they
Sergeant,
already
if I
have
may-
something, Sergeant?
Obviously, one of our concerns was the parking and making sure that, being a first-time event, that we had sufficient spots and a sufficient plan if it does get a little bigger than anticipated. One of our major concerns was that parking wouldn't be sufficient and people would want to park at Lowe's and try to cross over. We've seen that happen in events in the past, and that's something that we expressed to Mr. DeMoro right away, and he said, well, we'll put 2 officers there. There is a designated crosswalk that you hope people abide by, and we'll make sure that we can also control the light, if need be, through the traffic control box, and help facilitate traffic coming in, coming out. and making sure everyone gets out safe and efficiently.
Thank you.
Have you communicated with the owner, not you, the police department, but have you guys communicated with the owner of that shopping center to say that there may be overflow parking that goes to Lowe's?
We did not communicate with Lowe's, we communicated with the ones that were contiguous to us, the BJ's and the LA Fitness.
Right, so what we're talking about here is cars overflowing to the Lowe's parking lot, and I would think that it'd be a good idea for you to communicate with that shopping center owner.
We can do that. I'll represent, I will notify the Lowe's
Great.
manager.
Ms. Beam, I represent Lowe's in municipality. I know, I'll reach out to the on-site manager and to the corporate representative.
Thank you.
I'll take that responsibility.
Thank you.
Sure.
At least, yeah, for the sake of the carnival goers, because I know the shop right in Tom's River, like, if you're there and you don't go in a store and they catch you on a camera, they'll friggin' send a tow truck and get you towed in like
2 seconds.
Yeah, so,
Yeah.
yeah, you don't want all your carnival goers getting towed, because then they certainly won't come back the next year. So, and I think having the officers at the intersection there is definitely a plus, because I know, speaking with the engineering department, coming in from Lanes Mill to make the right into the LA Fitness there, people don't know that that's a stop, and they blow through that intersection all the time, so I think that's positive.
Okay, great. Andy, do we need to open this up to public?
One quick question.
Mr. Ryan?
It's not a noticed
Okay.
application.
Just real quick, what is
I'm
maximum?
going with a no then. Thank you, Eileen. I support Eileen in that legal question.
Mr. Dumar, what's the planned maximum capacity for patrons inside the fenced area?
To be honest, I'd have to do it, there is a formula that I did not do, but I will tell you that in conferring with the police department, we'll make that decision, and we have the ability, because of the fence and the security measures there, to shut it at any point if we need to.
Okay, because we're talking about, if we have all this excess parking that we need, that's fine, but you only fit so many people in there.
We will never put the safety of the attendees. It is only so much you can fit in there. So I
Agreed.
I
That's why I was
agree.
curious
So-
if there was a number that,
You'll control the flow, in other words.
Yeah, it would have to be a visual type analysis, because it's people waiting on lines to get on the rides and food, so on and so forth. We would monitor it.
okay,
Okay.
We don't want an overcrowded situation either.
yeah.
It's not healthy, it's not a good event if it's too crowded, and it's, I hope you're all right.
Oh, I think,
Oh, I think we are.
okay, so, next steps, what's the pleasure of the board? Since we have no other questions or comment from the professionals? Go ahead.
I think we should proceed to vote.
Go ahead, so
I
make
think we should
a motion.
Motion to vote.
A motion
approve?
to vote.
Approve, I mean, sorry.
It's actually,
I'm so
A
tired.
recommendation.
It's been a long day,
It's a
sorry.
recommendation.
Recommendation, you're right, forgive me.
Positive recommendation.
Motion to recommendation.
To approve the
To
permit
approve the- Yep,
for 2 years
yep.
with a 1-year
Look back.
look
Look
back.
back, yep.
Okay, we got a motion. Do we have a second? We have a motion from Ms. Scottson, a second from Mr. Barillo. Can we have a roll call, please?
Mr. Barillo?
Yes.
Mr. Orozco?
Yes.
Mr. Ryan?
Yes.
Ms. Scottson?
Yes.
And Chairman Saya?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank
Chairman, board members, board professionals, all, thank you, and good night.
And I will say this is significantly better than the
Yes,
last
the-
time. So, thank you.
I have to apologize. I'm a sitting councilman in Lake Como,
Yeah.
and I was on the planning board and zoning board there for 3 years prior, so I apologize for the last month's presentation.
It's okay. It's all good. We want it to be very successful, and it will be.
Thank you. Thanks. Good luck. Thank you.
Okay, can I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
All in favor?
All right.
Eileen, we're adjourned.
Thank you. Have a good evening, everyone.
Thank you.
Good luck.